I'm from 90 minutes away-ish, depending on the traffic. And I remember coming to Sparks game as a kid, and my mom would take me, and I'm just super grateful. There is a level of intensity and work ethic that I do bring to the table, but really just I'm grateful for this opportunity to show that being one of the best players in the world.
In her first press conference with the LA Sparks, Kelsey Plum made it official that the Las Vegas Aces dynasty is disintegrating. She didn't mince words, throwing pointed yet nuanced jabs at her old team.
You had some say over where you wound up as a result of this trade, and you chose the Sparks. What sold you on LA?
The vision. There's a ton of talent in the front court. Obviously, I have a history playing with De'Erica, whom I love, so that was a big part, but also just coach's vision, you know, new coach, new GM, new philosophy, and to be honest, opportunity to lead, opportunity to be one of the best players in the league at a different level and a different scale, and just kind of been chomping at the bit. So preparation, I've been playing high level basketball for a long time, but it's an opportunity to take it to another level.
5 important players have defected, while A.A. Wilson and Becky Hampton are the subject of debate. Today, we dissect Fallout Plum's surprising remarks and how they could permanently alter the WNBA. What went wrong in Vegas? Why are the top players leaving? Is Plum hinting at deeper problems inside the AC's locker room?
You are a proven scorer in the WNBA, but it sounds like you got something to prove running the point. Why is that? Why does that register with you the way that it has in the comments that you made?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, like, I know I've always been able to play make, but my team and, like, the positions I've been put in, I've played the two. I played off the ball. I've played, you know, a lot of, you know, catch and shoot and things like that. But for me, I can put it on the floor. And I know that, you know, the opportunity to have the ball in my hands a little bit more and make plays is something that I'm very excited about, but I know I have and I've worked on. You know, I said it earlier at the press conference that people forget I played the point for Team USA.
There have been many surprises during the offseason, but nobody anticipated Plum making such a daring claim during her first press conference with the LA Sparks. "I've been treated better than I ever have as a WNBA player." Fans realized right away that Plum was making fun of her old team. This wasn't just a casual remark about her excitement for a new beginning. It was a blatant sign that things in Vegas weren't as ideal as they appeared.
3-time All-Star, 2-time champion. So you're a very proven commodity in the WNBA. So you're going to be counted on to provide leadership. How do you convey leadership to a young team?
I think it's just about consistency, and I think showing up every day. And I remember when I was young, as a rookie, just seeing pros, vets, show up consistently and perform, right? And there's no, you know, you can't have an off day when you're a leader, right? It's not about you. And so I think learning that through time, that's been something that I'm really excited to take here to LA. And I know that I'm a little bit of a different style. You know, we talked about it earlier back there, you know. I play with joy, I have a lot of flair to me, but, you know, that's who I am, and that's kind of how I've always been, and so I'm going to continue to be that.
From their early hardships to their championship wins, Plum has been with the Aces since being drafted in 2017. She played with players like A. Wilson, Chelsea Gray, and Jackie Young, but all of a sudden she was prepared to leave, and she wasn't the only one.
You know, I know that this is not going to be an easy road. I know that this is, I probably took the path of most resistance. But that's what's exciting to me, because that's what I've always done, and I've always flourished in that. So it's like the hotter the fire, you know, the brighter the diamond.
When that ball goes up in the air against the Aces, is there going to be a little something extra there for you?
I mean, there's some extra at the pickup game we had today. So, so for me, if anything, there's just love. I'm super grateful for the time that I've had in Las Vegas.
This offseason, the Aces lost 5 important players in a massive exodus that nobody anticipated. Kate Martin-Carlson, Sydney Hayes, Tiffany. What's happening in Vegas? Are salary cap restrictions forcing difficult roster decisions? Or is there something deeper going on that pushed Kelsey Plum and others to leave? Alicia Clark and Kelsey Plum are gone, and this isn't just normal off-season movement. It's a complete collapse of the team's depth, chemistry, and culture. In summary, winning franchises tend to attract talent rather than lose it, which is why it's so odd to see the Aces disintegrating so quickly. It would make sense if 1 or 2 players left for better contracts or bigger roles, but losing 5 key players in one offseason is a sign of something bigger. When a team wins 2 championships in a row, you expect players to stay.
Playing for Becky, playing with Asia, playing with Chelsea, playing with Jack. I could go down the line of so many players that I played with. Obviously winning championships and having great memories, but more than that, just really the ability to be able to develop. You know, I think there was a time where I was coming off the bench, right? And there was a time where, it was a little bit of uncertain about my future in terms of where I could be in this league. And so for me to get that opportunity and to be able to win at that level, I'm grateful. So there's no, anything like that, but life, there's a new chapter and we're here and I'm ready.
As well as Kelsey the Enigma is only increased by Plum's remarks. She stated that she was happier in Los Angeles and that she was receiving better treatment than ever before, which implies that she wasn't content in Vegas and that something was going on behind the scenes that caused her to become one of the most popular ideas circulating, is that AIA Wilson is unquestionably the face of the Aces, a 2-time MVP, a superstar, and the team's heart. But may her presence have made it harder for other players to shine? Wilson's increasing dominance may have eclipsed other talents. With Wilson leading the way and Chelsea Gray driving the attack, Plum, who has always been a vocal leader and plays with confidence and intensity, was never considered the star of the show despite her great averages of 17.8 points, 4.2 assists, and 2.6 rebounds per game. Plum's function might have seemed things have changed in LA, where the Sparks are rebuilding and seeking a player to assume leadership. Plum has the opportunity to be the franchise's leader and face, a position she has been longing for. She even stated in her press conference that she has been chomping at the bit for this chance. However, it's not just that she wants a bigger role, there are also significant concerns about how the Aces are operated as a company. To start, they sacked general manager Natalie Williams months ago, and their front office is in disarray. They have yet to appoint a replacement, which is unprecedented for a team at the championship level. Without a general manager, a club is aimless, like a ship without a captain. Who makes the major choices, negotiates contracts, builds the roster, and establishes the long term? There are reports circulating that head coach Becky Hammond wants to serve as both general manager and head coach for the DU, which would be quite concerning if it were true. Although Hammond is an amazing coach, should she really be in charge of front office choices as well? That would be a huge job, and it would indicate that the company is having trouble finding the correct leadership. Then there is the DICA. The debate around Hami. Former Aces player Hami complained to the team about being mistreated after she revealed she was pregnant. The WNBA took her allegations seriously enough to fine the Aces $500,000 and deprive them of their 2025 first-round draft pick, which is one of the harshest sanctions in league history and severely damaged the Aces' reputation. In addition to the pay cap probe, Ham's claims point to a culture issue inside the company. If a team treats a seasoned player badly, what does it say about how they treat others? Could that have influenced players like Plum to leave? The WNBA is currently investigating whether the Aces gave players unreported benefits. In other words, they're being accused of paying players illegally outside of their contracts and giving them additional benefits under the table. Should the league discover evidence of this, the Aces may be subject to even harsher sanctions. All of these factors come together to paint a picture of a franchise in turmoil. The Indiana Fever, who were once the league's worst team due to their inability to attract talent, lost games, and appeared to be stuck in a never-ending rebuild, are now on the rise. It all began when they selected Caitlin Clark, the most exciting prospect in years. Clark is a generational talent and is already changing the perception of the Fever, making Indiana a desirable destination. However, the Fever have been making astute moves by bringing in seasoned veterans like Natasha Howard, Dananna Boner, and Sophie Cunningham. They're not just trying to be competitive, they're building a championship. The main difference between the Fever and the Aces at the moment is that the former are fostering a positive team culture where players feel appreciated and enthusiastic about the future, while the latter are losing trust. The best aspect is that players want to be there. The scary thing for Aces fans is that if Kelsey Plum speaks out now, Who will be the next to reveal what really happened behind the scenes? Will other WNBA stars start avoiding Vegas as a free agent destination? Kelsey Plum's remarks weren't just about her excitement for a new opportunity. They were a warning sign to the rest of the league that things in Vegas aren't as great as they seem. If the Aces don't fix their internal problems, if they don't regain the trust of their players, this dynasty could end before it even began. The reigning WNBA champions should be getting ready for another championship run, but they're rushing to fill roster spots while dealing with internal chaos, and the biggest question on everyone's mind is what went wrong. In Part 1, we covered Kelsey Plum's eye-opening comments about feeling better treated in Los Angeles than she ever was in Las Vegas, the Aces' front office dysfunction, and the growing rumors of internal tension. However, there's still more to unpack, and the deeper we go, the more it appears that the Aces dynasty is disintegrating more quickly than anyone anticipated. Let us begin with the L. There is no denying that Wilson is one of the most respected players in the league, but could her rising stardom be overshadowing her teammates during the Aces championship runs? Wilson is the face of the team, a two-time MVP, and a dominant force on the court. However, with great power comes great responsibility, and some are wondering if her leadership, or lack thereof, is part of the reason so many players are leaving. Teams are built around their stars, and Kelsey Plum is an elite talent. However, when other stars feel their contributions aren't appreciated, it can lead to animosity, which is when her departure begins to make more sense. Plum has always been a player and competitor who thrives on leadership and intensity, but in Vegas, she was never the main leader. That responsibility went to Wilson. Even when Plum was playing at a high level, she was still viewed as the supporting star who complemented Wilson rather than taking center stage. Now, with the LA Sparks, she has a new beginning. A chance to assume a larger position and, more significantly, a chance to leave Wilson's shadow. She wasn't the only one who felt this way. Her remarks about feeling more appreciated at law were regarding her role as a player as well as the organization. Sydney Colson's departure was another major loss for the Aces, not because of her stats, but because of her impact in the locker room. Colson was Wilson's best friend and one of the team's biggest energy boosters. Yet, even she chose to leave. That's a red flag. If Wilson's closest friend on the team didn't want to stay, what does that say about the team's culture? She's going to be guarded by elite-level perimeter defenders who won't give her an inch of space. She's also going to face more contact in college. She got a lot of calls when defenders made even minor contact, but in the pros, the refs let more physicality go, and she'll have to learn how to play through that. So while Clark's offensive skill set is built for the WNBA, she'll still need to adjust to the physicality and defensive pressure that comes with playing at this level. But here's where Indiana's offseason moves come into play. The reason Clark won't struggle as much as some other rookies is because she won't have to do everything herself. She'll have Aaliyah because Boston controls the paint. Defenders are unable to fully focus on Clark. Instead, she'll have another scoring option in Dananna Boner. Relieve some of the burden on her to lead the attack in every game, and she will have seasoned players nearby who can help her learn the small things. How to deal with physical defenses. How to adapt to various defensive tactics and pace herself during a lengthy WNBA season. The next question is how this Fever team compares to the best in the league, because despite their significant improvement, teams like Las Vegas and New York have already established strong rosters. Let's look at the top WNBA teams and how Indiana fits into the mix. That's what sets this team apart from the younger teams of the past that struggle to develop their stars. They're not just drafting talent and hoping for the best. They're creating a system where their young players can actually succeed. The Las Vegas Aces remain the team to defeat Wilson Plum. Kelsey, the foundation of a back-to-back championship team, is made up of Chelsea Gray and Jackie Young, who continue to have one of the league's most potent offenses. Their depth took advantage of a covert free agent, but they still have the camaraderie, experience, and elite quality to win. Indiana must demonstrate that they can stop elite perimeter scorers if they hope to compete with Vegas, as the Aces will put their defense to the test on every single possession. Another elite team centered around Breanna Stewart-JN is the New York Liberty. Sabrina Ionescu and Kel Jones. In order for Indiana to defeat a team like New York, they will need to rely on their speed and three-point shooting to stretch the floor and make New York's larger front court defend the perimeter. The Liberty are incredibly versatile and experienced, and their style of basketball will test Indiana's defense. The Connecticut Sun, led by Alyssa Thomas, have been among the league's most reliable teams. They play physical, defensive basketball and are the type of team that will use aggressive, in-your-face defense to try to wear down Caitlin Clark. Where does Indiana fit into all of this? They aren't yet title contenders, but they could make the playoffs for the first time in 7 years, which would be a huge step forward in and of itself. If Clark and the Fever want to play teams like Connecticut, they will need to demonstrate that they can withstand that kind of pressure over the course of 4 quarters. They are in the middle of the pack with a high ceiling depending on how quickly Clark and Boston become one of the league's best duos. But here's what makes them so dangerous. They are preparing for the future, not just for the season. If Clark lives up to the hype, if Boston continues to grow into a big MVP, and if Indiana continues to make wise roster decisions, this team could be a serious contender for the championship within the next few years. For this reason, ESPN gave them the highest grade in free agency because they are preparing for long-term success rather than just making moves for the present. The only question now is how quickly she can take over. Some rookies need years to adjust, while others enter and dominate immediately. If Caitlin Clark performs up to par, if Indiana's roster clicks as it should, and if they can compete with the league's top teams, then we may be witnessing one of the biggest rookie impacts in WNBA history. The scary part is that this is only the beginning. The WNBA is set to undergo a permanent transformation, and Caitlin Clark is leading the way. So there you have it. Caitlin Clark enters the WNBA with the ideal foundation for success, and ESPN has already dubbed the Indiana Fever the biggest free agency winners. Please let me know in the comments if you think another team should have won, or if you agree with their grade. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the notification bell, like, and subscribe so you don't miss any of the most recent WNBA news.